You texted her, and now you're just staring at your screen. No reply, no typing bubble, just silence. You replay the message in your mind 10 times, wondering, was I too much? Too fast? Too honest? And then that sinking feeling, the one every man knows. Not because she said no, but because she said nothing. You tell yourself it's no big deal. You move on, but some part of you stays stuck in that silence because rejection hurts. But being ignored, it questions your worth. If you felt that, you're not weak, you're just human. But what if I told you the problem isn't the text, it's the energy behind it? What if, instead of overthinking your messages, you became the kind of man whose words pull her in, effortlessly, calm, grounded, stoic, not chasing, but choosing? Because attraction doesn't begin with what you say, it begins with how you say nothing. Have you ever sent a text to a woman and then just sat there, staring at your screen, refreshing the chat, rereading every word you typed like it was some kind of secret code, convincing yourself she's probably just busy? Minutes turn to hours. Then finally, a notification. You grab your phone like it's oxygen, and the message just says, K, or worse, nothing at all. That silence, it hits differently when you care. It's not just a missed reply, it's a moment that messes with your self-worth. If you've been there, welcome to the club. If you've never been there, teach us your ways, Jedi Master. But let's stop pretending this is just about texting. Because what's really going on here isn't about one message. It's about how easily our emotions get hijacked. When we hand over our attention, our validation, our peace to someone else's response. You see, most men, without even realizing it, text from a place of lack. They try too hard, reply too fast, over-explain, double text, use emojis like lifelines, hoping each one might soften the silence. And when that silence stretches out, it feels like rejection. But here's the Stoic truth. Rejection is just reality revealing itself. And reality is never your enemy, only your teacher. So what if you flip the script? What if, instead of chasing validation through text, you became the kind of man whose words carry weight, the kind she wants to hear from, the kind she waits for, the kind she feels, even in the silence between messages? Not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're rooted, calm, selective, stoic. Today I'm going to show you 3 psychological texting secrets that women find irresistible. Not because they're manipulative, but because they reflect something rare: emotional control, presence, power without desperation, no cheesy pickup lines, no pretending to be someone you're not. Just small shifts in how you communicate. That will change how she sees you, feels about you, and responds to you. This isn't about tricking her. This is about becoming undeniable. So if you're tired of being left on red, if you're done feeling like you're always the one waiting, overthinking, wondering, then lock in. Because once you understand these 3 secrets, texting will never feel like chasing again. Instead, you'll lead. Let's get into it. Secret number 1. How to text in a way that sparks deep curiosity and makes her need to reply. Let me ask you something. Why do we binge watch an entire season of a show in one night? Why do cliffhangers keep us awake at 2 a.m.? Why do we click on headlines that say, You won't believe what happened next. The answer is simple: curiosity. Curiosity is one of the strongest psychological forces in the human mind. It creates tension, a loop that our brains need to close. And if you can trigger that feeling in a woman, she won't ghost you. She won't delay replying. She won't be able to help herself. Because once her imagination is engaged, your message becomes more than words. It becomes an itch she needs to scratch. Here's where most men go wrong. They send messages that are polite, but predictable. Hey, how was your weekend? Hope you're having a good day. Just thinking of you. These texts are safe. They're sweet, but they don't open any loop. They don't create tension. And without tension, there's no emotional hook. Stoics understood the power of what's unsaid, what's withheld, what's left for the other person to wrestle with in silence. So instead of filling in all the blanks, you leave just enough space for her mind to do the work. Try these instead. You did something pretty unexpected in my dream last night. I just realized something interesting about you. You won't believe what happened to me today. Now here's the key. Don't explain right away. Most guys get excited if she replies, "What happened?" or "What did I do in your dream?" And they dump the whole story in the next message. But not you. You pace it. You say something like, "It's actually kind of funny, but before I tell you, have you ever had one of those moments where something random reminded you of someone out of nowhere?" Boom! Now she's not just reading your message, she's in it. Her mind is filling in the gaps. She's wondering, guessing, invested. And that investment, it's emotional. And when someone invests emotionally, they don't forget. This is how curiosity turns into connection. You're not performing. You're not trying to impress. You're leading the conversation like a story, one that she wants to be a part of. Because texting isn't about saying a lot. It's about saying the right thing and saying just enough. So remember, curiosity creates open loops. You don't give her the whole picture. You hand her the brush and let her start painting. That's how you stand out. That's how you become the guy she doesn't just reply to. You become the guy she thinks about before she replies. And once she's curious, she's connected. And once she's connected, she can't not respond. Still think texting is about being clever? It's about rhythm, emotion, awareness, and restraint. The kind of restraint a Stoic man lives by. If that makes sense to you, stay with me, because the next secret builds on this, and it's even more powerful. Let's talk about anticipation and how to make her check her phone hoping your name shows up. If curiosity hooks her, anticipation is what keeps her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. It's that quiet tension, that subtle mental pull. The reason she checks her phone without even realizing it, just to see if your name is there. And the science behind it? It's dopamine. When a woman anticipates something, a surprise, a reveal, a moment she's not fully sure of, her brain starts lighting up. Dopamine is released not just when something good happens, but when she expects it to happen. And that expectation, that's where the emotional bond begins. Think about it. Planning a vacation isn't just exciting because of the trip. It's exciting before the trip, because of the anticipation. That's what makes it unforgettable. That's what builds emotional investment. Now here's the problem. Most men kill anticipation before it even starts. They text like this: "I got you something today. I planned a surprise. I have something to tell you." It's sweet, it's well-meaning, but it's a spoiler. There's no mystery left, nothing for her to imagine. You gave her the dopamine too early, and the story ends before it begins. But a stoic man, he knows the value of delayed gratification, of tension, of space. He knows that emotion multiplies in silence. So here's how you create anticipation in your texts without being manipulative. You say just enough, and then you wait. Try these instead. I saw something today that instantly reminded me of you. Want to guess what it was? I've got something planned for Friday. You're either going to love it or be really curious. I realized something interesting about you today. Should I tell you or let you wonder a little longer? These messages do something powerful. They flip her into participation mode. Now, instead of passively receiving your text, she's imagining, guessing, leaning in, emotionally involved. And here's the part most men miss, the pause. If she says, "Tell me," don't just answer. Pause, say, "I could tell you now, but where's the fun in that?" Take a wild guess first. I promise it's worth the wait. Now you've turned a text thread into an experience. You've created a game, not in a toxic way, but in a way that's playful, emotionally stimulating, and filled with momentum. Suddenly, you're not the guy trying to get a reply. You're the guy who makes her feel something. You've stepped out of the crowd and into her mind. And that, my friend, is where connection begins. Because when a woman feels anticipation, she doesn't forget you. You linger, you echo, you matter. And the best part, you didn't need fancy words. You didn't need to try too hard. You just understood what most men never learn. That emotional presence is more powerful than constant attention. That being a little unpredictable is better than being instantly available. That less, when said with depth, is so much more. If that clicks with you, stay tuned, because this last secret is the one most men think they're doing right, but almost always get wrong. Let's talk about compliments and how to give them in a way that makes her feel seen instead of just praised. Let's get something straight. Most guys think that complimenting a woman is a guaranteed way to win her attention. But here's the truth. A compliment can either spark connection or kill it. It all depends on how you do it. Because if she's even remotely attractive, she hears this all the time. "You're so beautiful. Wow, you're gorgeous. You're the prettiest girl I've ever met." And you know what she hears when you say that? Nothing. It doesn't land. It doesn't move her because it's surface level, forgettable, interchangeable with every other message from guys trying to get her attention. She doesn't feel seen. She feels scanned. But here's what Stoic awareness teaches us. True observation is rare, and most people are not truly seen, even by those closest to them. So when you do see her, not just how she looks, but how she thinks, speaks, moves, and carries herself, that's when a compliment hits like lightning. Let me show you the difference. Instead of saying, "You have such pretty eyes," you must say, "I noticed the way you kept your cool when everyone else got stressed earlier." That kind of calm is rare. Instead of, "You're so hot," say, "There's something about how you explain your thoughts. It's direct, but not aggressive. That balance is impressive." Instead of, "You're stunning," say, "You have a way of making people feel safe around you, like they can just be themselves." See the shift? These aren't just words, they're reflections. You're not admiring her like an object. You're honoring her as a person. And that lands differently because it means you're paying attention. You're not just talking to her, you're witnessing her. And when a woman feels witnessed, not for her beauty, but for her essence, It awakens something most men never reach: emotional attraction. That's where real connection begins. And one more thing most guys miss: timing. You don't need to throw compliments around like confetti. The most powerful words are the ones that land when the moment is right. When she opens up about her fears, her goals, her doubts, that's when you say, "I admire how honest you are." Most people hide behind small talk. You don't. Or when she shares her dreams, "I respect how driven you are." You don't just talk, you move. Those are the moments that leave a mark, because you're not praising her to get something. You're acknowledging something that already exists. That's Stoic integrity. To speak truth, not for outcome, but for honor. And when she feels that from you, you're no longer just a guy in her messages. You become the one person who made her feel truly appreciated without asking for anything in return. That's rare, that's unforgettable, and that's power. Now, let's bring it all together. Because when you master these three secrets, curiosity, anticipation, and genuine connection, texting stops being a performance. It becomes presence. It becomes influence. It becomes effortless. Let's tie it all together in the final section. By now, you've probably realized texting isn't about words, it's about energy. It's about how you make her feel, not just what you say. And most men, they treat texting like a checklist. Say something nice, be funny, respond fast, compliment her, hope she replies. But women don't remember checklists, they remember emotion. So let's break this down. Secret 1, curiosity. You don't dump all your thoughts at once. You leave space, gaps, questions, because curiosity is tension, and tension is attention. You create open loops. You did something interesting in my dream. I just noticed something different about you. You don't explain too fast. You guide her imagination. You let her come toward you. That's emotional gravity. Secret 2, anticipation. You give her something to look forward to, without giving it all away. You don't say, "I got you something." You say, "I saw something today that instantly reminded me of you." Want to guess what it was? You create a gap between the spark and the reveal. That's where her mind lingers. That's where connection builds. Secret 3, compliments. You don't just admire her looks, you admire her values, her calmness, her intelligence, her courage. You don't say, "You're so pretty." You say, "The way you carry yourself, calm but sharp, I respect that." Because compliments that land don't come from charm, they come from awareness. So here's what all three secrets have in common. Presence. You're not texting from anxiety. You're not begging for attention. You're not chasing approval. You're anchored. You speak less, but every word matters. You say more by saying less. You don't react, you respond. And every message you send reflects one thing: inner stillness. That's what Stoicism is really about. Not being emotionless, but being emotionally composed. Being the calm in the storm. The one who doesn't fold just because a reply didn't come fast enough. Because the man who texts with desperation is always negotiating for validation. But the man who texts with presence, he's not trying to be remembered. He cannot be forgotten. And if that's the kind of man you're becoming, then you've already won. Because texting is no longer about chasing something outside of you. It's about reflecting who you already are. Composed, thoughtful, unpredictable in the best way, and impossible to ignore. If this clicked with you, if it shifted something in how you think, stay with me. Because in the final part, I'll give you a simple recap, a practical mindset shift, and one final Stoic reminder that will keep your texting powerful, present, and completely pressure-free. Let's finish strong. Final thoughts. How to make her feel without trying to impress. Let's be brutally honest. Most men treat texting like a performance. They overthink every line. They chase replies like they're chasing air. And when she doesn't respond, they crumble. But here's what a Stoic man understands. Silence isn't rejection, it's information. And you don't need to be louder to be heard, you need to be clearer. So let's recap the mindset and why it changes everything. Secret 1. Curiosity isn't about cleverness. It's about open space. You create messages that spark questions, not give answers, that make her lean in, not pull away. When she feels mentally engaged, she emotionally invests, not because you earned her reply, but because her mind can't let it go. Secret 2. Anticipation isn't about teasing, it's about timing. You don't rush, you don't spoil the surprise. You let the silence build something, not break it. When she doesn't know what's coming next, you stay on her mind, long after the text bubble disappears. That's emotional presence. Secret 3. Compliments aren't about flattery, they're about depth. Most men look at her body. You look at her character. Most men talk just to talk. You speak to reflect something true. And the truth is magnetic. So where does all of this lead? It leads to effortless attraction, not forced, not chased, just real. Texting becomes natural because it's no longer about saying the right thing. It's about being the right man behind the message. A man who's present, composed, not afraid to wait, not afraid to walk away, not afraid to lead with quiet power. Because power isn't how loud your words are, it's how deeply they land. And when a woman feels that from you, that calm certainty, that subtle intrigue, that emotional intelligence, she doesn't see a guy in her DMs. She sees a presence, one that lingers, one that makes her curious, one that builds anticipation, one that makes her feel seen. And when a woman feels that, she wants to reply, not out of politeness, but out of genuine connection. And that, my friend, is the real win. So next time you're about to send a text, ask yourself, am I trying to get something from her? Or am I offering something of value, even if it's just a feeling? Am I reacting out of fear or responding from clarity? Am I afraid of silence? Or am I grounded enough to let silence work in my favor? Because when you approach communication from that place, from Stoic strength, not need, your words don't chase, they attract. Your turn, drop a comment below. What's one text you've sent that sparked a real reaction? Or what's one line from today's video you're going to try this week? Let's raise the bar for ourselves and for each other. And remember, you don't need to say more. You just need to say what matters. That's stoicism, that's presence, and that's unforgettable.